Buckeye Talk video version from cleveland.com. Try the texts. It's still a funky time, but we're getting down to football, and we're going to dig in first on the Michigan game. October 24th is the Michigan game. And Nathan, exciting news for me. I talked about my guinea pigs the other day. That's a big exciting thing. Today, the big exciting thing is I got a jury summons in the mail.
Wow.
I would like to put you on the stand about the Ohio State-Michigan game and put you under oath and question you like I am, like you're a hostile witness.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
I'm hostile. I'm nothing that's not hostile.
Mr. Baird, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth so help you God about the Big Ten schedule?
No.
Okay. Mr. Baird,
talk anyway.
When do Ohio State and Michigan typically play each other on the Big Ten schedule?
They typically play the last game of the regular season, Thanksgiving weekend.
And when are they going to play in the 2020 season?
They're going to play on October 24th.
Mr. Baird, would you agree that under normal circumstances, it's preferable for Ohio State and Michigan to play on the last game of the regular season because of the tradition of the rivalry, to emphasize the importance of the games, to allow both teams to build up to that game? In let's say a normal season, is playing it the last game of the year better than playing it earlier in the year?
And to allow the Big Ten to showcase it potentially from a financial standpoint with its TV partners. Yes, I agree that that's preferable in a normal year.
So if we've established that it's preferable to play it the last weekend of the regular season, what benefit would you say there is to moving this game to week 8 on the schedule, making it Ohio State's 7th opponent of the year? We have established that you're giving something up by not having it on the last weekend. What are you gaining by moving it up?
I think you're gaining flexibility. The Big Ten East is leaving the penultimate week of the regular season open across the division. All of those teams are off, and I'm losing my weeks now, whatever week in November that is, the 14th.
Mr. Baird, you may reference documents to make your answers factual.
I believe it's November 14th, but I don't have it right in front of me. Yes, I do. Yes, November 14th. I was right. So they gain the flexibility of being able to move that game back if things are going haywire in the middle of the season. But you could say that, I suppose, about any game. I think there's limited benefit to moving it in the middle of the season. I wish they had moved it all the way to week 1, as I and other people had proposed.
But we all agree that at the moment where this game is on the schedule, in terms of flexibility, this alleged flexibility, all you've gained is one extra week where you could move it. Correct? There's only one place. There's one extra place on the schedule.
One extra place because, yes, if it was still in the last week of the regular season, there would only be 1 week. Although they have also said the Big Ten Championship game is currently scheduled for December 5th. It could be as late as December 19th, and I assume they're building that in because if they wanted to move multiple games to the end of the schedule, they could bump the Big Ten Championship game back a couple weeks as well.
Which is just proof that if you kept Ohio State, Michigan on the last week of the regular season, you still would have flexibility. You would have potentially a great deal of flexibility. We all can agree that the only flexibility you're gaining by moving it off the traditional last week of the regular season is a single week of flexibility. One extra bye week for the moment, the way they've done it so far, right? We agree on that.
Yes.
Okay. Given that we all said it's better, I might drop the lawyer bit. I'm not sure people like this. But given we all agree, Mr. Baird, that it's better to have it the last week of the regular season, do you believe that moving it and losing that traditional spot is worth only a single week of flexibility? Is that worth it?
I'm less convinced that it's worth it for 1 week. I was convinced that it was. I still think that the best idea would have been to move it all the way to week 1. I don't understand why you wouldn't necessarily do that. That's where you gain the most flexibility. You get to put it you get to showcase it in a different way. You get to kind of announce the return of college football in a different way. And you then gain multiple weeks of flexibility to move it back. You can incrementally move it back if you had to. Excuse me. And I don't see as much reason to move it only and only gain that 1 week of flexibility and then have it just be kind of in the middle of the schedule has less appeal to me.
We know your stated preference for playing it in week 1. In conclusion, would you prefer where it is on the schedule in week 8 as Ohio State's 7th game, or would you prefer it to be the last game of the regular season if those were the only two choices?
I think that's a rough choice. I guess I still just the pragmatist in me says for this one season, moving it up at all and giving yourself any flexibility is still preferable. Because
No
I'm
further-
already on the record saying that even if they were to only play 3 games this year or whatever, that it would be important for the game, important for the series, important for the rivalry, important for these schools to have that be one of the 3 games. So, and I do believe that. So I think moving it up at all, giving yourself any additional flexibility, I think is better than leaving it in the last week of the season for 2020 alone.